stage there actually. But moving further, let us now dive into how the ICT committee has hosted the numerous stakeholders on two media fraternity on the issues challenging them. This comes after when Uganda decided to go digital. Actually, it was agreed that local channels were supposed to be free for Ugandans, and that that is when Uganda Broadcasting actually corporations gave a Signet, the tender to Ugandans on free-to-air. But according to the owners of the media houses as well as the members of parliament, they said that that was unable to be implemented successfully. Let us have briefly a setback onto this story. We do return, have more on different views regarding the same stories.
The ICT committee hosted numerous stakeholders in the media fraternity on the issues that are challenging them. Proprietors of media houses in Uganda showed their dissatisfaction on how UCC and pay TV take a lot of money. This discussion was driven from the topic of making free-to-air, indeed free-to-air. When Uganda decided to go digital, it was agreed that local channels were supposed to be free for Ugandans, and that Uganda Broadcasting Corporation gave Signet the tender to take Ugandans on free-to-air. But according to the owners of the media houses, as well as the members of the parliament, they say that it was not put in place as it was agreed upon.
The Signet issue must be addressed. If it's the challenge of government, then we go back to take back the industry to analog. You will see whether I shall complain. Because analog, everybody would struggle and put content on air at their own cost. But the moment it was turned into digital and the licenses were given to platform holders, my view on signals is that free-to-air must be free-to-air. And every platform holder should be encouraged and actually commanded to carry free-to-air.
Furthermore, they expressed their concerns over high taxes levied on media houses, and yet even the pay TVs, in the interest of making money, they charge high costs. They say $3,000 per month and 100 million shillings to UCC, which is too high, and it's a risk which may take them close their businesses.
The platform holder has a kick to say yes or no, including Signet, including government itself. It can say yes and or say no. Yet you have just finished paying over 100 million shillings to UCC for a license, a one-off license, a year.
140.
140. Exactly. You have no choice. You have produced, you can't air. Because the platform orders are only 3 or 4. And because they are very limited, they control the entire market. And some of those risks are high exorbitant charges by platform holders. Because of the high cost of broadcasting, when you add in several platform holders' charges, you find that many TVs, they reach at a time when they can't broadcast anymore, and therefore they'll have no choice but to close.
However, some media house owners have asked the government why they want free airtime whenever they want to be a broadcaster, yet they should be paying for air. This, according to them, is a high level of unfairness.
This issue that that is imposed on us, called the government airtime, we look at it as high level of unfairness for government, after charging so many things through its institutions like UCC, where you have to pay 150 million for a license to operate a TV in Uganda. Then you have to pay a couple of taxes, of course, many of them through URA, and then other entities like Signet and others. After we have paid all those bills, you know, with the money which government can't even tell where we get from that money, then government comes around and say, I also need free airtime, moreover to a government. We are looking at this as a high level of oppression, honestly. Because if I cannot sell to the most rich man in the land, who is called the government, he needs the free things, then I'm left to sell my commodities to the poor ones.
The money that is charged is said to be known by the Uganda Communications Commission because it regulates even the money they are supposed to charge the media houses.
I cannot charge you a figure that is not approved by. It would be putting my license in jeopardy. Those are three elements just for your comfort. One, I pay in Uganda shillings, just like everybody else here. Two, my prices indeed, even if I wanted them to fluctuate, UCC would not allow that. And number three, UCC has to approve any pricing that I charge you. Number four, which I also want to add, is that if I wanted to change pricing, I would need to first seek an application from Uganda Communications Commission.
The Vice Chairman, ICT Committee, Honorable Nathan Samson Igeme Nabeta, Member of Parliament, Jinja South East, has assured Ugandans that this matter is going to be handled by helping out Signet with the money they need, which is 51 billion to cover the whole country to get free-to-air channels.
From the discussions we've had, it is very important now that we support Signet to be able to cover the whole country with Signal. Initially, they had covered 18 sites, which are not covering the whole country. So with their new budget of 51 billion, they are requesting to cover the whole country and put in some gap fillers and redundancy in the network. This will help actually solve the issue of carrying all the free-to-airs available in Uganda so that now people can actually receive them for free. I think is now the fastest solution to this problem of free-to-airs who are having issues being carried on by other carrier, by pay TV. Because according to the licensing regime of UCC, pay TVs can carry or don't carry. It is up to them. So it's not actually a mandatory. The only mandatory carrier is the only mandatory TV they can carry is UBC. So I think it is important that we put our efforts to support Signet.
Very well, and there you go. So you have it for Signet seeking for 51 billion to complete free-to-air migrations. Or but don't you mind, we are not on complete one?
Hardly did I know. There is no sooner had I known.
Immediately I know away from that poll. You know, there are local channels. And Signet was given a tender to make sure all the local channels are included onto the free-to-air decoder. However, in the country, I don't know if you have got free-to-air, and you've got free-to-air, but you've never seen, for example, some other TV stations, I won't mention them, other local channels not broadcasting actually on the free-to-air. That means maybe this is explaining it. That's why we've been moving on halfway, because some channels have not been able to be accessed there. So Signet is seeking a 51 billion to complete the free-to-air migration. I mean, even when you look at my home village, actually, where I come from, we have got a problem here with accessing free-to-air channels. That's why we resort to other means on how, you know, we can access channels, TV station, and different TV stations for us to watch. Maybe for me, with the 51 billion, in case it is highlighted that it's going to cover the entire country on the coverage, so that Ugandans are able, you know, to tap into such growth of television. For me, that's a good one. But if we're seeking the 51 billion to still work on what we still have, I don't buy the idea.
There's also another big challenge regarding this issue of digital migration, whereby some Ugandans feel it is not right to pay for local TV. Because initially, before the digital migration came in, people would just buy a TV set, have your antenna, just set your antenna, look for the signal. But with this coming up, it is only the national broadcaster that is only left.
Broadcasting Corporation.
That is always left on a decoder, be it DSTV, GoTV, or any other decoder. So you can clearly see that the other channels, once your bouquet is expired, you have to first renew to access the local channels.
Apart from Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, that is the national television. But also when you look at the government system, it is, I mean, it has got the capacity to make sure that people feed on to what they want in regards to digital migration.
And even the signals on the Signet channels, rather the stations on Signet, sometimes the network is not favorable for some. The signals are not easily caught or are not cut here in some areas. And then you'll find out some people do not receive some TV channels that are also on the Signet or free-to-air decoders.
Yes, you're right. And that's why I'm saying if this 51 billion is going to cater for all those loopholes that have been there, including where signals have not been reaching, including not accessing other local channels, including as well, because, I mean, for example, when President is going to address the nation there is a guideline that you have got every television, every radio station in the country has got to be on one track, picking signal from actually one side, that is the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, to make sure you air the president's or any national event ongoing in the country, very important. And however, on that particular one, people are unable actually to get returns out of that. So some people were appealing that if government could actually highlight and also consider them giving to at least adding on to something as, you know, broadcasting goes on. But however, on that particular one, there are different views coming in from members of parliament, from parliamentarians, and also other citizens concerned, airing out their views on how they think this should be ongoing in the country. Take a look, we do return.
These are some of the issues that we've raised. The Uganda Communications Commission issued out licenses to the companies like Star Times, like DSTV, GoTV, Azam, and all others. It's very discomforting to the consumer to see that they cannot watch local channels without subscribing. Back in time, we had, before we entered into the digital migration, people could watch TVs for free without paying. But now, let someone be at a choice to either watch a channel having paid or not paying. But it's very discomforting to the consumer down there to see to it that without paying money, you are only allowed to watch UBC. We are saying this theft of people's resources must stop. And hey,
many citizens do not know how these services really operate, especially with the TVs. Because one of the issues which was raised was free-to-air TVs. Many people thought this TV is free to air, but there are technicalities, whether you are going to receive this TV free to air or not. Especially channels like GSTV, Zuku, and the rest. These are not free to air. It is only UBC that clients can access in all these platforms without paying service fee. So
we didn't find out yet about the 3,000. They were asking a question, but now we've decided, since there were quite a lot of people from different areas, we are going to visit each company and see who actually does what. We'll not visit every company, but we're going to have a meeting with each company to understand who are they charging. Are they charging? Because here they told us they're not charging. Although some other people told us in the meeting that they are charging some people $3,000. So what we're going to do is to look deeper into the issue of are they charging and what are they charging for? Because if it's free to air, why do you charge them that money? So we're definitely going to investigate that further.
But what we are doing on that, you know, UBC, we have one problem. UBC has never fully migrated from analog to digital.
Because we want to think other TVs can be accessible.
No, we didn't give them enough money to migrate. Now we are looking for money so that they migrate completely from analog to digital. And then all those local TVs will be carried by Signet. So once you buy a small decoder of UBC, it will show you all the local TVs, all of them. That's what we want to do now. So that you don't need to, if you don't want to watch African Magic and whatever, just buy a small decoder. We can even input it on some course inbuilt, and then we give you a free decoder. So that as soon as you have that decoder, you can pick all local TVs, exactly TV stations. That's what we want to do right now. That's the only way, that's the only thing that will solve that. But these others, they can't do it because for them they are business oriented. But as government, we are going to work on that.
The government plans to work on that particular one. We're still moving further and we head into a break. But you are also able to share your views differently on how you think this should be done rightly by the government onto at Smart 24 TV. Both our website is active and also on our different social media platforms at Smart 24 TV. I'm Rita Cabanyero and
I'm Jerome Paul Sonko. And before we even go into the break, most of these ministers here, as well as some of the key stakeholders from key TV media house proprietors, believe that it's high time government clearly helps and also tries to help them as well as individuals, because they are business people as well. They don't set up these television stations or media houses without an intention of making a profit in one way or the other.
Just like you said, just to add on, information is key in the country. I mean, when Ugandans are cut off from viewing some of the information, I mean, how is the country going to develop? How is then the citizen able to know what is happening around the country? Since media actually is the fourth estate of the government. But we head into a break. We do return with more information business around the corner.